Welcoming Place is a film project that speaks to a technology that exists in the codependence of Black and Brown communities. Having conversations about the observations they've been making in the city that they live in, A Welcoming Place focuses on Austin, Texas, but is also a stand-in for other places going through a similar scenario where there are histories, lineages, and generations that have made observations about their conditions. And so I've interviewed 6 artists that are either from or have lived in the Austin area for a long amount of time, to the point where you get an understanding of what was happening in the 50s until now. The way that the film is structured is that there are questions and responses to those questions regarding what a welcoming place looks like. Some of the questions addressed a different interviewee's relationship to Austin and to East Austin specifically. The last question that I ask in the film, at the end and the beginning, is the question, what does a welcoming place look like? And so when the viewer walks in and you see the beginning, you're seeing the answer to the last question. And so I wanted to do this because I wanted the first section of the film to function as a kind of synopsis of what's to come, almost like the chicken before the egg. I was interested in learning more about the Confederate statue that was sitting in the town of Bentonville in northwest Arkansas. And this Confederate statue, in terms of the conversations I was having, became such a sharp icon representing a legacy of racism. That Confederate statue and different monuments and even natural landscapes can be markers of violence. Exclamation points is what the artist Sandra Perry told me, which I think about constantly as how those exclamation points are pointed to and described in narrative form throughout different communities. I use landscape modeling and references to films as a kind of challenge to our minds to think imaginatively how we're able to observe what's going on around us and how to collect data. I've been thinking about circles and cosmology while I was attending the University of Texas at Austin for my graduate degree, and when I went to Skowhegan, I allowed myself to just bring everything that had a circular form. And one of those was the weather balloon. So I started investing time into understanding what that's for, what its purpose is. And so the purpose of the weather balloon is to carry a radiosonde, which is a technology that is used to collect data in the atmosphere and send it back down to Earth so that you could create a forecast. So then the idea of forecasting, basically, it just started from there and developed itself like a snowball effect. As I was talking to more Black and Brown people, there was this general consensus and understanding of the metaphor I'm working with as taking temperature and what that means within a community. So this phenomenon is not only a technology, but also an intergenerational one, meaning that it's been crafted as a way to sustain your existence by understanding where you are. So the archival footage that's incorporated into this film comes from 2 different sources, really 2 different countries. So one is a meteorological film showcasing the military's ability to forecast weather in the United States, and the other film is the same, but it's based in the UK. I wanted to restructure these archival footages in order to push forward representation and thinking about how weather is forecasted, not only in a very literal sense, but also in a political sense. Black and Brown people have only recently been able to document themselves, which is why most of the footage depicting Black and Brown people living their lives simply comes from mostly the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And so I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind when looking at this footage, is that we are living in a time where we're able to archive ourselves. And that was not always the case. There is a great importance of valuing each other's daily existence, that survival is not enough. that sustainability is really the dream of where many communities are trying, or all trying to get to. Not for people to consider land, but also the people who exist there.